welcome to this episode of Doll Belly Knits, the vlog on knitting, crocheting, and other crafty things, with the highlight of reusing, recycling, and grabbing what you have on hand to make beautiful objects. Other places that you can find me on social media include Instagram and Ravelry as Doll Belly, and there's a group for this vlog on Ravelry. If you search the group tabs and look for Doll Belly Knits, you'll find me and other viewers chatting it up in the forums. If you are a return viewer, thank you so much for coming back. And if you're a new viewer, thanks for stopping by and checking us out. You probably can hear some tinkling sound in the background, and that is the sound of rain. The heat wave has finally broken here in jolly old England, and I could not be happier. I know I'm going to be booed and hissed at, but I enjoy the rain and I enjoy the weather here as it normally is. This heat wave has just been way too much for me to handle, especially since there's no air conditioning. Yes, it has just been extremely hot, but that's finally over. I'm excited to have the traditional English summer rain. The gardens have suffered terribly. They really have. I thought it was a surefire sign that it has been a very hot summer here in England when they panned out the camera at Wimbledon and the lawn and all the spectators who weren't able to get a ticket. They show them out on the lawns, and the lawns were brown. If the grass is brown at Wimbledon, you know it's been brutally hot. So, yay, rain, and I'm sorry if that makes some of you sad, but I'm going to say it anyway. Yay, rain. So, this episode is probably going to be, well, it is going to be different than other episodes. And that's because I've only been working on one project for the entire week. My oldest daughter's birthday is coming up, and she requested that I make her a scarf. Yes, it's July, it's hot, why would she want a scarf? Well, she wanted a particular scarf, one that is inspired by, or actually part of, an anime show that she watched, whatever, called Fairy Tale. And apparently there's a character who wears a scarf all of the time. I will be actually inserting lots of pictures, more than you're used to maybe, just because of the fact that I need them to help explain what I'm talking about. So she wanted me to make this scarf based off of the scarf that's in this show. Additionally, she wanted me to add the logo of the show on the scarf. So that was a little bit more maybe than I was anticipating, but I certainly was up for the challenge, as this is something that I've done before, just not in knitting. So yeah, doing this scarf, which is, as you see from the picture, is a plaid, white scarf, plaid, gray stripes basically. And then she wanted the logo inserted, and she wants the logo in pink. So that's what we're aiming for. Now, I've done color work before, one time, really. I made a pair of mittens, also based off of another show that my youngest daughter used to be into called Undertale. And I'll insert a picture of that here as well. And they were a pair of mittens, so that's a lot smaller in color work, and that was a pattern that was already done up. Somebody else had already made that up. I will insert the link in the show notes below. Of course, as always, all the people, places, yarns, things that I talk about, I make up a list of show notes for you guys in case you're interested and you want to get some more information for yourself. I put them in the description box below, and you can also find them in the Ravelry group for Doll Belly Knits. So, yeah, so I've only done knit color work one time before. What I have done lots of times before is crochet, using color work with crochet. Recently, I've been seeing a lot of C2C blankets where people have incorporated patterns into the C2C. They've, realized that these are blocks, and I can use the blocks to make a pattern that I like. What I've done multiple times is use single crochet only to create the pattern. Now, that does make for a blanket that is heavy and thicker. There's obviously no holy bits about it because it's all single crochets, but it also, at least in my opinion, allows you a lot more control over the image that you're trying to achieve, because you just have more blocks to work with, maybe. I'm not sure how to say that any other way than, because with the C2C blanket, you're actually working with clusters of double crochets, whereas with the way that I have done it, it's just a single crochet stitch. So you have a little bit more control over the clarity or the detail of the image that you're trying to provide. So what I would do is I would actually use this is what I did to make the image for the scarf. I use a software program. It's actually called Pattern Maker. It's a cross stitch program. I'm not even sure that they make this anymore. I've had it for years, but I will try and hunt down whatever information I can provide in case you're interested. But honestly, there's probably newer, better versions of this available. This is just what I have always used, so I know how to work it, and I continue to use it. So what I would do for the crocheting is I would find an image that I wanted to put into a blanket, and you can use the program to directly import the image into a cross stitch pattern. And you'll see examples. I'll insert examples of the previous projects that I've done, but it's so you use the pattern, and then you end up with what's a cross stitch pattern where every block represents a stitch. And that's why I would use the single crochets, because then I can just easily look at the pattern and translate it to each block is a single crochet. And you would, I actually have the pattern for the scarf here. Let's see. So here's the pattern. It's not the complete pattern because I couldn't get it all on one page, so I will have to splice two patterns together, fold it and do like that. Yeah, that's about right. And as you can see, you would normally read, when you're doing color work for crochet, you would read the pattern from right to left, and then you would flip your work over and go left to right, and each block is a single crochet. So that's pretty much how that's done. However, because this is knitting, and because of the yarn that I'm using, the needle that I'm using, I am actually working two rows. I'm working one row twice. Okay, let me back up a little bit. I want to go back to the pattern maker, talking about the pattern maker and importing the image. You can import whatever image you want, and it can be really super detailed. Like, I think it used to be a craze, like a thing to cross stitch your child's school photo, something like that, if you're really into cross stitching. And you can literally scan in their school photo, import the image into the pattern maker, and it would give you a cross stitch pattern of your child's face from their school photo. Of course, that's because the pattern maker uses the DMC floss colors, which there's like 196 of them. So again, you can get a lot of detail, and you can really have a sharp image, but you're going to have 196 colors that you have to, use as well. With the crocheting, what I do for the blankets that I have done in the past and how I would still continue to do it in the future is I do my best to find a coloring page of the image. So like for the Ariel blanket that I did for the girls, that was a no-brainer. It's really easy to find a coloring page. And I tried to get that it's as plain as possible. So what you're actually importing is just a coloring page where the inside of the image is blank and you're just having the outline of the image. And then in the program, you can actually fiddle with the outline and make it smoother, like rounder, or however you want to make it look. That's what I mean by you have a lot more control in terms of making the pattern really clear and crisp if you're using single crochets and you're using a pattern maker. So that's my recommendation to you if you want to give that a try. Try to find a coloring page photo. And you'd be surprised because I've done Little Mermaid, I've done Star Trek, I've done Battlestar Galactica, the insignia of Battlestar Galactica. That was really hard. There was a lot of having to switch yarns and change colors, and I wouldn't want to do that again. That is one that I was like really happy to be done with. But those were all coloring pages. I literally Googled Battlestar Galactica coloring page. So that's a whole nother story that we could talk a lot about. That there's some really interesting coloring pages available nowadays, and you can probably find something that you're looking for. So anyway, I've been blabbing on for quite a while, and I haven't actually even shown you the project that I'm working on and what I have done so far. So here it is. This is what I have done so far. I am using Stylecraft Special 4-ply yarn. This is the pink. It's called Pale Rose. And then obviously I have a white and a gray. I don't have the ball bands with me, so I'm not sure exactly what the colorway is, but I'm sure you'll be able to find out. So this is a workhorse type yarn. It is, like I said, 4-ply, and I need it to go small in order to get the dimensions that I was looking for. Additionally, I'm using a ChiaoGoo red lace. Love this. This is perfect for this pattern because the needle tips are so pointy, and this yarn is pretty fine for me. I know you hear 4-ply a lot, especially in knitting. And this is something I would think about making socks with, not something, an additional accessory. So it's not the smallest yarn I've ever worked with, but it feels like the smallest yarn I've ever worked with because of the pattern and the stitches, and it's a scarf, and it's probably going to take me forever to finish. I'm certainly not going to get it done for her birthday, and since I haven't told her to not look or watch the show, she definitely knows about it. She's already seen it. I was trying to keep it low key. I started working on it kind of in secret, and then when it was like this tiny little bit here, I thought, oh, she's still not going to realize what I'm doing, but she saw this and she knew what it was. So yeah, so I got, oh, what is it? Sorry. Here it is. Woo! I got my glasses on. I still can't see. It is a 2.5 millimeter needle, and I'm using 4-ply. So it is small scale, and that was on purpose. The logo that I imported and the pattern that I made from it ended up being 50 stitches wide. So, and then I knew I would have, you know, some stitches on either end of the logo. And I was trying to keep it at 70 inches or 7 inches, which would make it 10 stitches per inch. So although I would have loved to have used a like worsted weight or a chunky yarn and kind of knit this up a little bit faster, it wouldn't have been a scarf, it would have been a poncho. So I had to go small fry, so to speak, in this case. But so far, so far I'm happy with what's happening. What I have noticed with the pattern is that although I have, I ended up doing 59 stitches. So because of these stripes, in order to get equal number of white to the one gray, I ended up having to do 59 stitches. So I have 59 stitches, and I realized when I started knitting that the row gauge does not equal the, no, I'm sorry, I'm not saying this right. The column gauge, so like the width of the item, is not the same as the height of the item. It's not a 1-for-1. So what I'm doing is I'm actually, when I follow the pattern, so like if I was crocheting, I would read it right to left, I would flip over, and then I would go left to right. Because I have to do 2 rows for every 1 block, I'm basically always reading right to left, because I do the 1 row and then I flip the work over and I actually repeat that row just in reverse, so that it ends up looking, so you end up seeing the pattern really. If I was doing every row according to this pattern and doing right to left, left to right, and every row was a row of the pattern, it would be really short and smushy, and I don't think that you would be able to see it at all. That was, I'm sure, really, really confusing, and I'm sorry. My words seem to be failing me today in being able to explain it any better. I know those of you who have done color work know what I'm talking about. Those of you who haven't, please don't be put off by my incessant babbling and my inability to convey the color work to you. Definitely get out there and take a look around, because I'm really excited. I'm really happy so far. This, I can tell, is going to be the right dimension. This is the tail. Like, it's, I showed you the logo. I think it's supposed to be like a dragon or something. Like, here's the dragon head and the wings, and then that was the tail. So, fairy tale, whatever. So I'm pretty sure that this is going to look like it's supposed to look in width and height, so that makes me happy. I just have to finish it. And, sorry, checking my notes here. Yeah, I have to finish it, and I need to get it done, not just because I would like to have her to have it for her birthday, but honestly, I have worked on nothing but this in the week since I last recorded. So I have no more progress on my works in progress. I have no more progress on my Christmas knitting, and I don't have another Christmas knitting project on the needles. This is seriously messing me up, but it's all worth it for you, my baby. Yes, it absolutely is worth it. This is why I do what I do. I love being able to knit things, crochet things, make things, and give beautiful objects to people that I love. And especially something like this that was an actual request, and you're not sure if you're going to be able to pull it off, but so far, fingers crossed, it looks like it's going to all come together. I am a little concerned, though, with the fact that this is an acrylic yarn. And as you can see, there's curlage happening at the bottom, there's curlage happening on the sides. I'm going to have to block it in some way, shape, or form. And I'm really terrified about blocking it because it's acrylic. I don't want to melt it after all the hard work that I put into it. I have seen 1 or 2 videos on acrylic blocking. I would love to hear anybody's suggestions, comments, tips, or tricks on acrylic blocking. That's probably, again, finishing is more than half the battle, is it not? That how you finish a project ends up determining your ultimate happiness. So please leave me a comment in the comment box below. Let me know if you've blocked anything that was acrylic, how it turned out, how you did it, etc., etc. So, yeah, like I said, this is probably going to be a really short episode because I don't have anything else to show you other than this little bit of scarf, which has taken me a week to do. Not only have I been monogamously knitting this scarf, the heat really did affect me and my actual desire to knit or crochet. I did in the last episode cover, things that were good for summertime knitting because it was really hot, and that was kind of the focus of what can I do that, isn't going to make me feel like I'm on fire because I already feel like I'm on fire. But it really got very intense, the heat, and it was kind of like to the point where you just really didn't want to do anything but lay naked on your bed. Like it was really hot. So I'm super excited again about the rain. Did I tell you I was excited about the rain? Because not only, do we need it, we desperately need it. Like I joked about the Wimbledon lawns, but I can even see in the village that some of the bushes, the hydrangeas and stuff, things that are there every year aren't quite there yet this year. So we really do desperately need the rain, and it's cooled off, and we'll be able to do a lot more knitting and have a lot more motivation to do the knitting. So yeah, I do though feel like I have a magical memory to share. So yay, this is the part of the episode that I like to call magical memories. It's where I talk about something that happened in the last week that was a nice memory in the making, either for me and my family or me and my friends. This past week, my family went to the reservoir, the lake as we call it. I talked about this last episode too when I really hit up the nature deficit disorder discussion, and so this is kind of like a follow-on of that I'm really taking that seriously, that with having teenagers and the electronic day and age that we live in, it is so easy to just plop yourself in front of a device and just not go outside, even for the adults, but especially so for the kids, because it's their phone isn't just about watching YouTube. It's how they socialize. It's how they communicate with their friends. And research is starting to come back that it's really not the best thing for them. But regardless, we do all know that nature has healing properties. Nature has inspirational properties. Nature has a lot of things that we cannot produce or get from an electronic device, or even can't get in unless we go outside and submerge ourselves in it. So this week we went up to the lake, the reservoir, and my husband and my two oldest got to go windsurfing. That was something that the girls have never done. Hubby did that many years ago, but has done it. And yeah, it was a delight to watch because I'm a watcher when it comes to water. I really, really don't like the water. Not comfortable with it. But husband's completely comfortable, and that gives me the confidence. I mean, not only there were instructors there, and it was just, yeah, it was great to watch and see them go and to be on the water. Really, yeah, of course, as a parent, you're like, woo, that's so awesome. And just something new and different that they've never done. But also, I was there with our youngest, and, it's just such a beautiful area to be in. And there's there's a nesting area for a particular bird at this reservoir. I have to find out what it is because there's so many of these birds. So there's these animals around. Everybody was on the water. It was a beautiful sunny day. I did bring my bird of fire shawl, so I was able to work on that and, intermittently look through the binoculars to see my babies out in the middle of the water. So yeah, it was, again, a magical memory where you get out there and you're with your family and you're doing stuff. It's new and exciting. And I guess, not only for me, the realization of sometimes you just got to do stuff that makes you a little uncomfortable. Sometimes maybe you have to do it afraid. That's the only way that you're going to get the experience. If you don't step out there and try something new, you're going to miss it and you may regret it later on. I'm not regretting not doing the windsurfing, because that is going to be a big step for me to try to get out on the water like that. That's just something that I'm super uncomfortable with. But I'm so uncomfortable with the water myself that I know that fear transfers on to the kids. Like, I'm afraid for them, and I start to think things that I don't necessarily need to think because they're not me. And like our middle daughter, she's like a fish. Like, I should be so not concerned about her being in the water. She would probably save me if was necessary. As a matter of fact, she's taken lifeguarding instructions. So yeah, definitely. I guess this is one of those like segues into mom type wisdom that sometimes you have to let your kids do some stuff that would make you uncomfortable, afraid, because it's an opportunity for them. And in reality, if you look at the situation, you talk to yourself, logically that it's safe. I mean, I'm not advocating that you let your kids do stuff that isn't safe, or that you're really super, like, that this isn't what they shouldn't be doing. It's just that being a little bit more open to things that maybe you would normally be closed to, because YOLO, right? You only live once, and you have to be able to take advantage of the opportunities that come your way at the time that they come your way, because they may not come around again. Okay, I will stop. I'm gonna step down off my soapbox now, and I'm gonna call it quits here for this episode. Hopefully next time I will have a little bit more to show you. I doubt it'll be the finished scarf here, but we'll see. I could be completely able to knit and knit furiously now that I'm not sweating like a pig. So we'll see. But until we see each other again, I hope you have some happy crafting. I hope that you are healthy and stay well, and that you get out there, maybe do something afraid, and make some magical memories of your own. Until next time, see you later. Bye.